My name is Jason DeLorenzo. I have SDH mutation gist, so it's really nice to come to Life Fest with SDH doctors and presentations. In 2003, I'm clicking things. In 2003, I had my initial surgery. I had a tumor in the lining of my stomach that broke the inside of my stomach, and I was bleeding. And as men normally do, we didn't go to the hospital until a week later when I passed out. It takes passing out for you guys to go to the hospital. And where they found the gist and cut it out. I'm not going to go too long about my story because everybody here probably has, we're not going to play the hand game with their stories because I can't compare, probably. But I had my initial surgery and had half of my stomach cut out, exactly what they said they won't do anymore. Then they put me on Gleevec, exactly what they said they won't do anymore. Then in 2007, I had a second recurrence, and in 2012, 6 weeks before my wedding, I had my second surgery. And in 2015, I had my third recurrence, which I'm still living with. But I just kind of wanted to give some tips also for people with cancer and with GIST. First, how to reach the cancer subject to people close to you. I was talking about this yesterday with some of my GIST kid friends. And basically my strategy is to make sure you go do something that you can't really do. So like, oh, I have to go to the restaurant, and when they ask what kind of dressing I would like on my salad, since now I can't have mayonnaise or vinegar or some other thing from Gleevec, oh, I can't have those. And then invariably the person will say, well, why? And then you can breach the subject. Or you can hold a massive barbecue in which you just announce that you have cancer to everybody, which I do once a year, the Saturday after Labor Day. Of course, you're all invited. It is a Life Raft Group donation event. And yeah, we have music and food, and rock, paper, scissors tournaments. It's fun. Oh, Virginia. Yeah. Yeah, come on over. Yeah, you can drive to Virginia. You have a nice big field, everything. It'd be great. We have wine tasting, too. Next thing is make a bucket list and do it. So don't let things like cancer stop you from doing things. I took fencing lessons, and I skydove, and also I ran a marathon, which before the marathon I only ran a 5K. It's not as easy as it sounds. And in fact, I actually met my wife when we met on the softball team, but we ran training runs through the marathon. She finished about 2 hours ahead of me. She had time to finish, watch a movie, and then watch me finish. So anyway, other tips. When you're on a road trip and you're on Gleevec, and you have to go to the bathroom, don't stop at gas stations or fast food restaurants. Stop at hotels. Their bathroom is right there in the front. Nobody uses it because they just go to their room. And a lot of times it's like a single use or maybe just very few uses, so you don't have to deal with whatever somebody leaves behind. Here's the next thing. Everyone knows a miracle cure. Baking soda in your refrigerator, concentrated radio waves, infrared waves, whatever. Well, diet and exercise and stuff like that helps. All that other stuff is bunk. Don't even Cancer movies are not true. There's this one movie called Phenomenon, where John Travolta magically can move things with his mind because he has a tumor. It's not going to happen. Also, for my SDH friends, mutation movies are not true. I do not have claws in my arms. I can't disappear or control time because I have a mutation. No, we get cancer. That's what we get. Here's some tips for navigating hospital land. In hospital land, you check your humidity at the door immediately. Do not try to manipulate the gown to cover your butt. No matter what you do, that doesn't happen. I said, oh, my kid loves it. I tried it once. And then when I had to climb in the stretcher to go in for surgery, it flew right over. And some of the nurses were like, woo, look at that. No, that's the ass. Woo, look at that ass. I'm like, yeah. The bathroom in the hospital will never smell normal. It either smells like medication or like you 5 minutes away. And people who give you books to read have obviously never been in the hospital. Your brain is so much mush that if it's even interesting, you're not even going to remember the thing you just read in the previous paragraph. So almost don't even bother, just give us video games. or something like a tablet or something like that. Also, this one's very important. Appreciate every single one of your caregivers, because number one, you're lucky to have them. And I'm lucky to have my wife, and my kids, my mother, even my cousins who let me sleep over when I have to go to the hospital. I'm so lucky to have such a great caregiver network, and I encourage everybody to just, give your caregivers a hug, maybe at the end of the speech, and it's very important. And so my last part of my speech is more about where, yesterday we heard a lot about science, and this prohibitor, inhibitor, SDH, prohibited, Jace, whatever, retinol, I don't know. Science always falls short of answering the most important questions that we as patients need to deal with, such like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? And it's very hard to deal with that, especially in the beginning. And whether we have cancer or any problem, sometimes things happen for us for reasons unknown. And sometimes our natural sense of justice is kind of violated by cancer without a discernible cause. I mean, 2 days ago in Just 101, Joseph said that just has no smoking associated with it or anything like that. It is nothing that we did. You are not a bad person. So another question is, what do I do now? And I answer that with, you live the life the best you can. You don't let cancer stop you from being you. You keep loving everyone the way you did before. And this is just something about, cancer is just something about you. It does not define you. It is not who you are. Cancer is just a growth. And then the last one, how should I feel or how should I live differently? And I have several friends who have had cancer, heart problems, or some other death sentence. And I've kind of boiled it down to maybe 4 different reactions. The first one is kind of very angry. God owes me something, and I've been through this. God owes me something. He took something away from me that didn't give me in the first place. And you get depressed, and you get angry. And in this case, the cancer kind of wins, hopefully only temporarily. Another reaction is disassociation. Oh, cancer, as long as I'm walking, I'm okay. And it's not as bad, it's a little bit of denial, but the cancer does exist. You're going to have to go to the hospital, and you're going to have to deal with it every time it happens. Some people like to fight back, and that's what I think most of you are. You fight back. You're strong advocates to find a cure. These people are resilient. You're invaluable to the case. And it's admirable a lot of times what I see people being able to do just from the strength of caring about themselves and caring about the people around them. But the last thing is embracing it. Suffering happens in our lives, whether it's cancer or money problems or relationship problems. Suffering happens, and they are not problems. Whatever great person had an easy life or didn't have to go through trials or struggles to do what they wanted. Your suffering is an opportunity, and suffering is when God screams at you the loudest. This doesn't mean you seek it out, that's masochism. But when suffering presents itself, eventually, I encourage you to embrace it. Learn from it. Suffering is there to help you grow in virtue. And cancer is on my top 3 things in my life that have forced me to grow in virtue. So I'm going to stand here and say, other than my wife and my kids, cancer by far is the best thing that has ever happened.